when I met Kajol on set, I didn't know how to react or how to feel, because she was the reigning queen of the 90s. I'm a 90s kid. I won none of the Marathi Debutante Awards. So I was like, okay, Filmfare is going to be the same. I'm just going to go look pretty and come back. But I think I just held on to Dhruv, and he did whatever he needed to, and everything was in the writing, and which was so wonderful. I think I'm a huge fan of Dhruv Sehgal as the writer Dhruv Sehgal, and he knows that.
She rose to fame with her version of the Cup song, and ever since it's been the little things and the big performances that have made her an OTT sensation. I'm chatting with a very lovely Mithila Palkar today about her rise to stardom on streaming platforms on today's episode of Filmfare OTT Showcase, a prelude to the MyGlam Filmfare OTT Awards. First of all, let me just ask her, describe your Filmfare moment, your two big Filmfare moments.
They are undescribable. I don't think I have words for them. In fact, honestly, the Marathi Film Fair, which was my first film fair ever, and on set of many more, I did not expect it at all. Because that year, if I must mention, all the debut awards, all the debutante awards, I didn't win. I won none of the Marathi Debutante Awards. So I was like, okay, Filmfare is going to be the same. I'm just going to go look pretty and come back. But I won. So no words to describe it. And also, the first Filmfare OTT and Little Things got to be part of it, and both Dhruv and I won. And for a show that's so special and so close to our hearts, that it anyway, Filmfare is special, and just this entire setup makes it all the more special.
Tell me about your OTT journey. I mean, you're like an OTT queen with so many shows and stuff that you've done. What is your take? Is the OTT space overpopulated? Has quality sort of taken a back seat? What is your take on before we talk about little things?
I think it's a bunch of things. I definitely personally enjoy being on the OTT because there is just so much choice. And even as an audience, I'm not just saying as an actor especially so, because there is just so much now that you can do. But even as an audience, if you don't like a certain set of 10 shows, you have another set of 10 more shows that you can actually go ahead and watch, and you don't have to watch 10 shows that are recommended by your friends or anyone else. So I think it's a mixed bag of things, and I think the opportunity of choice is something that I really enjoy about the OTT. And I chanced upon it. I auditioned for it when I was starting out. I auditioned for a show called News Darshan that Filter Copy was doing, and Dhruv Sehgal, who happens to be the writer and my co-actor of Little Things, he took my audition for that show, and we worked together on Filter Copy on their page on YouTube, and then that transitioned into the two sketches that we did together, Dhruv and I, and then of course those transitioned into Little Things. So yeah, that's been my journey.
Tell me about little things. Now that you've done 3 seasons, your character growth, was there ever fatigue that set in, and how do you sort of look back at the journey?
I think Little Things is one of the most incredible journeys, because I don't think there'll be anything like it for me, or for any of us who've been associated with the show since the beginning, because this was literally like we were all starting out as actors, as writers, as directors, as DOPs, as editors. All of us started out as a small team, and then we kind of experimented with the show, and then it became whatever it did. So now after this, whatever we do will be from here. But we started here with the show, and we've grown as human beings, we've grown as artists. So I think there's never going to be anything like that experience ever again. So it is definitely closest to my heart. It's very special. As a character, I think I lack that creativity of thinking, okay, we've showed this in one season, now what do we do next? But I think I just held on to Dhruv, and he did whatever he needed to, and everything was in the writing, and which was so wonderful. I think I'm a huge fan of Dhruv Sehgal as the writer Dhruv Sehgal, and he knows that. And after the third season, again, I was like, okay, now what is going to happen? But because I think not just as an actor, I mean, not just as a character, I feel like a relationship also reaches a point where it's like, okay, now we're together for so many years. Now what? Like, how do we keep it exciting, or how do we keep going? And I think what is special about Dhruv and Kavya is that they are ready to have all those uncomfortable conversations to figure it out, whether it's working out, not working out, but they're ready to have that conversation. So I think, yeah, there was no fatigue in that sense because Dhruv just made it really easy. And but she's grown up. I've grown up with her, and now it's almost like you wake me up in the middle of the night and say, "Hey, we're shooting for little things." I can do it. Like that's how confident and how close to me I feel Kavya is.
Also, you worked with a plethora of actors, whether it's Dulquer Salman in his movies, and now, of course, in Tribanga with Kajol and Tanvi. How has been the experience from the big screen to the, Netflix films? How do you look at it?
I absolutely enjoy being in this place where I am not in one category. I get to be everywhere. I get to be on the big screen. I get to be on stage. I get to be online, and I get to dabble in everything that I wish to. And that's what my grandfather always told me, that you're a jack of all trades, master of none. You better be focused on one thing. But I guess that trait came handy because now I get to do everything unabashedly. I think those experiences have been so special also because I've watched those people on, like, when I met Kajol on set, I didn't know how to react or how to feel, because she was the reigning queen of the 90s. I am a 90s kid. I've literally, like, she's been our idol growing up, and suddenly now I'm sharing screen space with her. But she makes it so easy with her infectious laughter and energy that it was really incredible to work with her. Irfan sir, similarly. DQ, also, if you don't know anything about DQ, you will never know what a superstar he is, because he is that, like, he's that humble. Like, you will never know that he is that big a star. So it's been, I think all these sets have been, I was a child in Disneyland. These film sets have been like, I just want to sit and soak it all in, those experiences in, because in fact, I remember even on Karma, I have gone on set when I was not needed. I was like, I don't care. I want to be there, and I want to just watch these actors work. So exciting. That's how my journey has been.
What are your memories of Irfan?
I think he always had this, which is so special about him, that he had this childlike energy and curiosity. So I think after Karwa, he was just about to start a show, on like a web show, working on a web show. And he was so intrigued about the entire space, and he was told that I was working in the web space. So he had no inhibitions. He sat me down. He said, "बताओ फिर क्या होता है, फिर कौन देखता है ये, कौन कंज्यूम करता है ये कंटेंट, फिर कैसे आप तक कैसे पहुंचता है कि ये कितना पैसा बनाया या कितना व्यूज मिला या ये सब कैसे पता चला." Like, all of this he wanted to know, willing, like he was just so curious, and so, like, he had that childlike curiosity to him, and that was so amazing. He called me Binaka Geetmala because I am always that person on set you will hear singing somewhere, and my range of choice of music, Jitesh, how much I love your posts. So it can be anything from the 70s to the 80s to the 90s to now, anything. So he used to hear me somewhere in the background, and one day I think my shot was after theirs, my scene was after theirs. So I remember Akash told me, Irfan sir पूछ रहे थे वो बिना का गीत माला कहाँ गई. So I was that for him on set. So it was incredible. He was a special human being.
How did you and you come from such a straight, normal family. Did you have trouble making the two worlds collide?
I mean, look, I truly believe that every family is dysfunctional, okay, in their own way. No matter how much anybody says otherwise, every single family is dysfunctional. Every mother and daughter relationship will have some, no matter how tight. I'm close to my grandmother also. I'm very close to her. Like, I will just like hug her and just strangle her with all my love, kind of a thing. Like, that's how much I love my grandparents. But of course, she and I fight, yeah. And of course, my mother and I fight. And there are days when I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. She'll be like, I don't want to talk to you. So yes, sab ghar mein hota hai. There is nothing called perfect family. Every family is dysfunctional. And I think Tribanga is such a good example of just being able to embrace. Like, I think that's what it did for a lot of people and to me, that dysfunctionality of every family is normal. So you accept it and you acknowledge it. And that's what Tribang did for me. That ye hota hai and it's fine. It's absolutely fine. In fact, I was so grateful to Renuka Dai also because, see, now Masha is again somebody whose choices I wouldn't kind of resonate with. But the fact that she could make those choices independently, confidently, and on her own, to just keep up, like to just overcome her baggage in a sense, like to safeguard whatever she was feeling insecure about, and I think that's commendable. So maybe I don't resonate with her choices, but the fact that she could make that choice was a privilege that she had, and she made most of. So yeah, that's what Tribang gave me.
Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for being in conversation with me. Thank you so much.
Bye.